Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we have the HMBLE monthly final, grand finals, SK Gaming versus HMBLE. So the two best teams in the region, absolutely, in my opinion. I think there's quite a clear difference between them and the others right now. I mean, some other teams can definitely win against them, but in terms of who's strong, it's definitely these two. So they're going to be facing it off right now and knockout out in the open. Both of these teams, well, just before, I think all forecasters predicted HMBLE. I predicted HMBLE to win over on Twitter, and I've got all of my predictions right so far, 6 out of 6. So I'm hoping I can get this one right as well. So yeah, this has been a pretty sweaty day. We've seen some really close games with HMBLE against, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's been so long. I've also been out as well, so I haven't fully got to watch every single game, but there's been some really close games. I think HMBLE, was it HMBLE versus Reply Totem? I think top of my head, and I think they won there. SK Gaming, I think, was versus Papara Supermassive. Yeah, I think that was right. Anyways, we got this. So B out in the open. Okay, I guess B's good into the Hank. I've just been seeing a lot of Hank. Again, I've got to rewatch like semi-finals and quarterfinals again to like fully understand the meta. But I have been seeing a lot of Hank on like knockout maps, on quite a few other instances in East Asia, for example. So Hank definitely, I would say, the most underrated brawler in the meta right now. I mean, I literally did call it multiple times that people would underrate it because his hypercharge still isn't that bad. It's not horrible like some people make out. And people were saying he's going to be F tier again. I was saying he was B tier. Absolutely. So it's quite funny there. You can see they're also watching the stream back in the background as well. So they go with the Pearl. Pearl's, of course, really good in knockout. Starting to drift down the meta a little bit, Pearl is. Not seeing her as much as I used to. And then the Meeple to retaliate into that. So one thing I'm interested, like I've seen the kit first pick, which definitely, I don't really see first pick kits as much. Maybe they wanted to go kit to stop, like to bait them into something perhaps. I don't know, there's a lot of like strategies going in here with SK versus HMBLE. Both of these teams, I believe, have made it to the Brawl Cup as well before this, so I guess just pride's on the line. I mean, there is a lot of points up for grabs still, but both teams will be seen at the Brawl Cup in Texas. So here we go. So in terms of the compositions, to be honest, I don't know, there's very limited range on the HMBLE. I think both teams can definitely win this one. Pearl can definitely get some good kills onto the Max or the Meeple. Again, I'm a bit like questioned on the B pick, but I think there's some good damage here. If Kit can get some good jumps onto like the Max or the Meeple, then B and Pearl should be able to burst them down pretty quickly. So the Gadget already doing quite a lot of pressure. There's going to be the jump onto the Hank. And there we go. That's going to be the first kill, but it is an instant trade out. And now it goes into the 1 versus 2. It's going to have to be, yeah, I was going to say, it's going to have to be a really good Gadget there to try and kill Yoshi. But now 1 versus 2, Boss and Luki need to really try and kill Joker as fast as possible here. There's actually some really good discipline here from Joker, just keeping his shield, which is a play I don't actually see too often. That was a really, really smart play. Just get the nice 3K onto Boss there. Luki's going to get burst down by the fire. Joker's going to go down. 1 versus 2 situation for Yoshi. This looks very winnable here. He's going to break the super. Boss, would he get a kill? Yes, he would. That was incredibly close from Yoshi. Really, really well played. And we can just see how this final is going to play out. This is two absolutely cracked out teams. Two probably the best teams in the world right now. You're thinking of like Zeta, you're thinking of Tribe, you're thinking of these two teams. Like, I think those four are like quite clearly the best teams in the world. So it's going to be exciting. Hank, I don't know. Hank is, of course, really good in a lot of different knockout maps, but I think out in the open just might be a little bit of a stretch. I know you've got the Max as well. Probably the strategy here is to try and get Hank into that position to spawn trap. They're going to get the kill there from Ope, but then again, Semantic goes down again. So I'm just not really catching the value there with Hank. I guess B must have been such a good shutdown to it. I mean, it is on an arse open map, of course it is. So 1 versus 2 here again. The same scenario played out from the last round. Looks like Boss and Luki have all the pressure right here. Yoshi's going to pop hypercharge already. Luki with a decent gadget, and here comes the gadget. Joker's going to be really weak. We should be able to finish off that kill. Now Yoshi again, another 1 versus 2 situation, but a really good pinch and game there from HMBLE. I really like it that time around, but I feel like SK, I don't know, they should have something else up their sleeve here. Both times Kit has jumped into the Hank, and they've got the Hank, but then it got traded out instantly. So I don't know. Maybe they think they can win that 2 versus 2 battle. That is my guess. Or Ope is going to switch up something else and jump onto someone different instead. I would probably go for that. So Ope is going to go in here. It's going to get taken down immediately though. And Semantic should be able to take down Joker as well. This is looking absolute disastrous for SK so far. The Meeple Hank strategy is looking too cheesy. Way too cheesy. So Ope tried a different strategy, but I think with Kit, it's pretty difficult to rush in here, especially against this comp, because you got the Hank bubble constantly charging, and then all members on Humble aren't like squishes whatsoever. So here we go. We got Ope super here. He's gonna try and time this right. Yeah, it goes for another gadget down the left. He might be able to get Boss down here. Boss gonna go really weak. Does actually jump onto Lukey instead, which actually is a decent play. Here we go, 1 versus 2 this time around. I feel like SK probably have the better of the matchups here. I'd say Yoshi is actually popping off here with the Pearl because he's cycling through his supers and his hypercharge pretty effectively. Boss with a good gadget. Now they have all the pressure on the side of Humble. Let's see if Semantic and Co can keep this. Yoshi's probably going to opt to jump in here, which is actually a good jump in the end because Humble just don't really expect it. Good taps onto Boss. He's having to retreat because he's really weak. That's going to be a gadget onto Boss as well. Now he's one shot. Gadget coming down the slow onto Semantic. It was just nothing that a Hank can do without the Max when you think about it. That's why they went Max and Hank in combination. So maybe the strategy here is to take down the Max and they can win this game a lot easier. So another gadget going down on a map like out in the open. Like, people question why, like, you go Meeple on an open map. Well, if you use your gadget and then push up, then you've literally spawn trapped them without doing anything. Joker's already got his hypercharge here. He's going to be able to pop that any moment he can and just delete anyone. Ope goes for the gadget super. Does actually miss that. But somehow Yoshi gets the kill onto Boss. I missed that. How did he manage to kill Boss there? I don't even know. But now, a 3 versus 2 situation here. All of them are just basically got to stay alive and they should be able to win this. Especially with Ope getting his super pretty soon. Yoshi has his hypercharge. He's getting chipped down from Lukey. I guess that's probably a good play there. Just make sure you don't die from Yoshi. I like that. I like that. No silly mistakes, especially in a 3 versus 2. You see a lot of people just go for that fight and probably end up losing it. Yoshi pops the gadget, gets Lukey pretty low. And he has to retreat. Ope with the miss super. That is not the best, but yeah, Semantic, unless he gets super, is not going to survive that. Lukey tries his best here, but surely he's not going to be able to clutch this. Surely, yeah, there's just no way. There's just no way. Good discipline from Joker there, and that's going to be the game. I guess, like, that actually got pretty scary towards the end there. I don't even know how that unfolded. I guess it's just some good, quick kills from SK. Again, like, I completely missed that kill onto Boss there. I'm guessing that I think Joker must have hit a big shot onto him and then Yoshi cleaned it up. Okay, so this is more of a game on our hands here. So the strategy changed a little bit, but I would still think the kit just isn't really needed as such. I guess like the kit was only really needed for the draft and just try and bait them into the Hank or something. I don't even know. That's probably my thinking here because it's not really working out too well. But I guess he's still at least got his trade. So a good jump onto Lukey there. So again, we're going with a strategy onto the Max instead of the Hank here because Hank is just obsolete without that Max synergy. So 1 versus 2, no, 2 versus 2 again here. I'm just laughing because every single round it just seems to be this 2 versus 2 situation that occurs. Like Kit jumps in, Kit gets like helps gets the kill, and then it's just a 2v2 and see who can clutch up. So Yoshi's going to push up here into Boss, which is actually, I'd say it's okay because Pearl's got that star power to help. Joker just absolutely blitzes through Semantic, and then Yoshi and Joker just insane synergy managing to get Boss down. I mean, I think Yoshi's honestly playing the best here. He's playing absolutely insane on the Pearl. It is a decent matchup for Pearl, but he's just playing so aggressive. So here we are, SK Gaming 1 game away from this set point. Ope going for a little bit of a different strategy here down the right with the kit. Joker with a big shot, going to use the gadget. Here comes the super from Lukey. They need to try and get as much value as possible here. So it's going to run in. Ope is actually going to jump away, which is definitely a bold strategy here. I guess we're trying to keep the range as much as possible here and try not to get closed down by the Hank. He's going to jump on the Hank instead here, whilst Luke is really low. You know what? That was actually such a good play. And SK, they're going to take the set. That was a really good play. He noticed already that the Max was weak and his teammate's probably going to finish that off. So why not jump onto the Hank, who's a lot more HP, kill him quickly, and then they've got a really good 2 versus 2 situation. So fair play, really well played from SK there. They look kind of out of down and out the dumps in that first little bit of the set, but then they clawed it back. Some good mid-set adjustments. So 1-0 here. Let's jump into the next one. All right, guys, jumping into set number 2, we have Hot Zone Ring of Fire. As you can see on your screen, one thing to actually get from this monthly final is that there's not going to be any balance changes with the update coming pretty soon. So you'll know for at least like a couple of weeks that, well, actually, I don't think there'll be balance changes until after the next monthly finals, which is next weekend. So we at least got another week of this meta, so we can learn what to go in, like rank, for example. What are the best picks? Absolutely. So you can see like Gray is a really good first pick, Poco and Lumi, of course, and then Chester, Stu, Poco. I mean, we knew all this anyways. So B first pick, pretty standard first pick in my opinion. Max into a B, pretty standard counter, to be honest. Again, could go without the Bell in the middle. More than likely, most people do go Bell to counter the B, but maybe Bell was too fragile against other things. So they go with a Draco. Me personally, I don't really like Draco too much, but the pros, they really like this kind of rock, paper, scissors like battle in Hot Zone with like against the Frank. They'll probably go to Frank to counter the Draco, something like that. So yeah, we've got Max, Draco. One thing I've been noticing in this meta, we're just not seeing any Berry whatsoever. Is he now underrated again in the meta? I don't know, but this would be a good chance to go the Berry if he was humble. Even against, well, actually, yeah, it's against a B, isn't it? I think B might be stopping this. So B and Lou. Okay, they're doubling down on the zoning in Hot Zone. I'm not really surprised by it. I guess I'm a little bit. I guess like Chester's banned out, so Lou you can still play as like a lane brawler to stop anyone from pushing in like a Draco, and then that super's going to help you get some zone time, and they're going to go for the Hank as well. So that is, everyone is playing Hank at the moment. Again, the rise of Hank, you absolutely love to see it. I need to play him more in my rank games. I really do. I play him a little bit, but nowhere near as much as the pros are playing him. All right, so now with the last pick, I'm trying to think in my head what you can really go against the Hank. You do need some good range. You could go, to be fair, you can't go like another tank because you're just going to get destroyed by the B and the Lou. What do you even go into that? I have no idea. I mean, there's a Melody, but you're just going to get completely shut down. I'm going to go Janet. Okay, Janet is, I think Janet's a good pick, to be fair. I think Janet is a reasonable one. Got a low-key gone like, I don't know. I don't think Mr. P Hypercharge is actually that great anymore, especially into the Hank. Trying to think, like, any sort of aggression is going to get shut down by B and Lou, so you can't really go that. And then you don't want to go too squishy because of the Hank. Yeah, maybe you could go with, I don't know, B with a bow, sorry. Could have gone something like that. I don't know. The draft doesn't really look that great, in my opinion, for Humble. But yeah, let's dive into it. So, Ring of Fire. Let's see the strategy we go with. So, of course, we're going to go B in the middle. A good B can definitely beat Max in the middle, by the way, but it definitely is a sweaty matchup. So, Lukey going to dash forward straight away onto Joker. Joker's doing a great job, by the way. Hardly taking any damage from Lukey. Yoshi already pushed up in a great position behind this wall. It's going to be really hard for Draco to really do too much. Again, I just don't like Draco really anymore in the meta. Like, obviously he needs a Max, or he just needs... it needs support, definitely. So Semantic, he's going to get a lot of value actually out of that gadget here, and Yoshi's going to get taken down as well, but SK with an easy lead so far. And I feel like as the game goes on with loose supers, etc., it's going to be more and more difficult. So here comes a max speed to Draco super as well. It's going to allow him to get into that pocket. But a B against Draco, it's not really the hardest matchup for B, right? Just the slows. Should be able to get Semantic one shot or down here. He's going to get down with the gadget. Yoshi is struggling a lot here with the Hank. Some really good plays from Boss. And now Humble are going to be in the lead. So we need to try and pinch out this Janet as quickly as possible. Boss just manages to stay alive. But the super, I know it can be good, but at the same time, he probably may as well have just gone down there, to be honest, because he was one shot. As soon as he lands, he's going to get taken down anyway by the Hank. And here comes the Hypercharge from Yoshi. Joker's in a pinch position. It's looking pretty drastic for Humble. Hypercharge super coming down, though. Semantic is going to go for the Hank, but the Hank has Hyper, so you can't really push too much into it. Hank Hypercharge coming down, not really going to do too much. Good freeze from the Lou there. Going to completely dismantle Semantic. Boss going to get a couple of kills. Jumps away as well. Really well played from him, but surely he's going to get taken down. SK just getting too much zone time right here. Yoshi getting deleted by Semantic. It cycles through to another super. Boss doing as well as he can. Hasn't got his hype charge just yet. You know what? There is some life here in Humble. But as I say, that double hype charge from SK, surely this is it right here. OP is going to opt for the kill onto Semantic, which is actually pretty smart and completely... There's just nothing that Humble can really do here. Really well played from SK. This is just such a good game, to be honest. It's just back and forth. Two absolute titans of EU. This is the best gameplay you could probably get in Brawl Stars at the moment. It really is. Some insane synergies going on. Joker cracking that Red Bull. Love to see it. I mean, he has been absolutely cracked this year. Same with Yoshi. Has he turned French or something? And OP. It's because I went to say OP to change it to Yoshi. Okay, so this time around, in terms of strategy, Semantic's gonna just go straight for the Hank and not allow him to push up to that wall, but then he's just gonna get pinched by OP sitting in the grass. I think I've seen this strategy used with Zeta, with Loom. They just literally, Lou was just floating around in the grass, making sure that no one's sneaking in left or right. He's just literally hiding, and then he just farms off one of the tanks, then throws super to get some zone control. So some really good strategies here. So you see OP is never really over-aggressing too much here. He's always keeping an eye on where Semantic is going, so straight away he's going to go left side, try and feed his super from Semantic, and one super is going to equal some control. So that's actually a good freeze there. Normally throw it in the zone, but he knew that he could just instantly freeze Semantic with his gadget. So 52% here for SK. It's slowly running away from Humble right here. Again, just don't really like the Draco too much. Look at this B. B hypercharge is going to completely delete him. The gadget is going to make him stay alive for a little bit. But I think since the gadget rework, I just don't really like Draco that much. There's probably other hot zone maps where he gets more value. Maybe in scrims it looks a lot better. But whenever I've seen it in competitive play, it just hasn't really done all that much. And trust me, I love Draco. I've loved him being in the meta in previous months, but again, he's getting just destroyed right now with 20% left. To be fair, Humble, I've got a lot of percentage through this Draco in the end, but SK just shutting it down time and time again. So Boss doing a decent job here. His job is to try and kill the B and the Lou. As I say that, Semantic gets some really good pressure, and now both OP and Joker are really weak. So Yoshi's going to come in here, allow both his teammates to try and heal up, gets the kill onto Boss, gets the hypercharge down. There's a lot of percentage here. There's only a few percentages left. A good super from OP is going to get taken down. Some great taps from Joker, considering that Lukey was supered up. And Boss going to try and get the kills whilst in the air. And that's going to be SK going 2 sets up to 0 so far. That was a really clean set. The synergy from SK has been absolutely unbelievable so far. So yeah, my prediction's about to go down the drain. Famous SpenLC jinx again. I'm sorry, Humble, but this might be a clean sweep. Let's jump into the next one. All right, guys, jumping into set number 3, we've got Brawl Ball Super Beach. So one thing straight away, the Jackie ban. Jackie must be a good counter to something they want to go, like maybe an Ollie. There's a couple of other brawlers that Jackie can counter pretty well, like Buster, for example. So straight away I'm thinking SK, they probably want to go the Buster here, so maybe Humble want to take Buster away from them. Also, I just want to see what other teams go against Chester first pick, especially in Brawl Ball. So we're going to go with the Juju. Okay, Juju on Super Beach. It makes sense because throws are really good here. I guess Juju's good against aggression as well, but I'm just seeing a lot less throws in the meta and a lot less Juju. But Humble going with the Juju. Let's see if it works out. I think like what pros are good at facing off against Juju, because you can, especially with the supercharge right now, if she got a couple of updates ago, you can start to run her down a little bit, especially with some good synergy picks. You know, for example, like Max and Frank can just run it down like crazy, and of course Juju just can't deal with that. So we're gonna go with the Finks mid. Okay, that is pretty interesting. Finks is pretty good in the meta right now, I would say. I was surprised I didn't see Finks in that Ring of Fire set. But for Super Beach, can be pretty good. Are they baiting them into going B? I just don't know. B surely is the strategy here into the Finks. I don't know, but then Juju is a good counter to the B. So this, I don't know. There's so much like that goes into draft when it comes down to the game day for these pros. Like it might seem pretty simple on what to go, but there's so many, like, you know, in the bans, like trying to bait the other team to go in something. So then you've got a trick up your sleeve. There's so much back and forth that you think about. So if we're going to go with the Shade. So Shade, I guess they're going to go Shade, because Shades can be decent to throw once you get your supers. And then they're probably thinking the other team's going to go like a tank. So that, you know, Shade's going to get value against the tank by farming supers. Chester can deal with a tank. So Yeah, there is that. And then they need a mid here, so they can go with Max, they can go with B, they can go with, I'm trying to think on my screen here, they go with B. Okay, again, a pretty standard pick. I wonder why they didn't no team pick their mid earlier on. I guess like Chester is just absolutely the best pick out of the rest of those. So interesting to see what they pick here against the Chester and the Shade. Again, like they kind of need a tank for some aggression here. In Brawl Ball, you do need like a goal scorer or someone at least to press up the map, or else you're just going to get spawn trapped the entire time, especially against the Shade as well. So they can't go another thrower. Some people probably would say that. I would go some type of tank. You've got like Oli, you've got Buster, you've got Buster. Okay, yeah, Buster is a great pick into this. Buster's a really good pick into this. So Buster can be pretty good against Shade because you've got the gadget to pull him completely out of the wall and then take him down. I'm a little bit scared though, if I was Humble, of this Finks versus B mid. I want to see how Smantic plays this off, because surely B outranges Finks and should be able to get the better of them. We'll see. I wouldn't like to call this draft, to be honest. It's a little bit different to what I see in my ranked games. Let's take a look. So here we go. So I want to see the Finks play off. I want to watch how Smantic plays it, because I think he's got to be one of the... Well, he's got to be one of the most underrated brawlers in the game. Okay, Smantic corners the ball straight away. Joker's already got his super. Even against the throw, I didn't watch that first matchup, but it's all it is with Shade. Make sure he's cycling super. Is a really good gadget there from Joker, combining it onto both of them. All right, again, with a Shade, just make sure that you're not wasting your super. It's just so important to cycle it. At least get close to your next one. So again, he's got to target this Juju here. Does get Juju pretty weak, but now he's without super. So my guess, yeah, he's going to try and stay in a good position to try and get his next super. He's going to get taken down. And now they can go on the aggressive. So the good thing here with Humble's composition is that they've got such a good win condition with Buster's gadget. So here we go. We're going to get the kill there. Really well played. Joker probably a bit too aggressive there. I guess they were all three of them clumped up, and that's what you really like with Shade, but that's going to be the first Humble goal. So yeah, with Shade, you want as many people as possible within your radius, because then you can cycle through to a second super, to a third one, etc. Yoshi already got hypercharge here. I've not been noticing him popping off, but clearly he has been. And look at that super, just not even a single shot against B anyways. Like in that long range, at the tip of B's range, you should be able to shoot that consistently if you're a pro player, but that super of course is going to help out a lot here. So Smantic's going to gadget backwards and just absolutely destroy Ope with a pinch there. Luke is doing a decent job against Joker here, to be honest, considering he is the Juju. That's going to be 2 down. Just Yoshi left on defense. Humble in a good position, not rushing things here, because they know they've got the Juju to help pinch. They know they've got the Buster to gadget in if needed. Joker's doing a great job, again, a lot of damage. The pass forward, the gadget play, absolutely beautiful synergy right there from Humble. Really like that. Normally what Buster players do is they just hold on to the ball and they try and make the play themselves, but why not let your teammate score a new gadget? Literally, I mean, you probably can't do that in ranks because your randoms are just really dumb, but super well played from Humble. So I like that this time around. They had all the aggression. It seemed like every single time like Joker went in, yeah, he got some good pressure, but he just ended up dying, and then Humble just overwhelmed them with the Juju and everything else. So Luki's gonna manage to get the kill there, especially with the shield gadget. You can tank a lot from the Shade, especially if Shade isn't hitting them critical shots. So already Luke is in a great position. Gonna throw the Juju forward, but throwing the Juju the Grigori forward actually just made Joker just super through it and just go straight for the Juju. So really well played there. Actually cycles through to another super, so SK looking pretty good in this moment. But Buster's pretty deadly behind this wall. Boss is doing a good job. That's going to be a great gadget from Yoshi. What did I say? Great gadget. It's some really unskillful gadget. So 3 versus 1 here. That's going to be the goal from SK. Love to see it. Really well played there. So that's just a good moment there. They know they get 1 kill. They just need to try and go together as a team and score as quickly as possible here. Smantic with his super. Again, he waits for the moment for like one of SK's members to like push forward, and then he gadgets backwards because you get all of your ammo back. Ope with the hypercharge, and that's going to be the goal. So after it looking like Humble had like all of the control there, it just seemed literally one death from Humble, and they just completely capitulated and SK took over. So now we are 1 game away from a complete sweep from SK. This is like all of the hype from pre-game. It's going to die down a little bit if there's going to be a sweep here. Surely I can't be casting 2 sweeps here in a row. I'm literally watching the grand finals. These should be the best of the best. You know, set 5 games. Come on, Humble. Bring it back a little bit here. Get me a game. So there goes the first kill, and especially against the Juju, it can be pretty hard to break out of spawn trap, especially on Super Beach as well. So even with the critical shots, there's just not enough ammo there for Joker to take down Semantic, but now he has a super on respawn. He's going to go for the matchup against Juju again here. So here we go. He's going to pop the gadget. The Gariga is going to be really annoying. Semantic does a good gadget, but Yoshi's there to clean up 2 of them already. Surely this is an SK goal right here. Okay, actually, Luki does have the ammo to take him down. So maybe a little bit rushed from OP. I don't know. I can sense the opportunity there. Literally 2 goals away from winning the monthly final. He may as well go for it. So here goes Joker. He's going to get a double hit onto 2 of them here. He now just needs like 1 more hit here to cycle through to another super. He's not going to go for it. So that's actually a lot better than I would have just gone crazy and tried to get that double super. It's just so satisfying with the shade. Good gadget there from Semantic. He's playing really well on this Finks, to be fair. Joshua with a hypercharge. He's going to go for it onto Boss. Ope now can start to get some good shots onto Boss from his hypercharge. So the scary thing is for Humble is that they haven't really got like a hypercharge or anything that can just guarantee a goal, whilst SK definitely have. This Chester hypercharge is absolutely dangerous. So I think Humble are looking to try and score before he can use it. Double hypercharge here. I think the poison hits 2 of them. It's going to kill Luki maybe, or even yet. Boss is going to go really weak as well. Imagine if that got a double kill. That would have been absolute dirty. So he actually cycled through to another super. Anyways, he's going to pop that straight away and just run into Boss. Boss hypercharge for the stat boost, which is just fair enough, to be honest. Joker's going absolutely crazy right here. Spots the opportunity, and now we are 1 game away from a sweep. Surely not SK. I mean, the predictions were 50-50 in the final, but all forecasters voting Humble. I would have just said Humble myself. SK just look absolutely devastating at the moment. Joker gonna go with a super here. Some great gadget from Boss. That could have been disastrous if Joker managed to get another super. He could have just farmed them like crazy. And now going into overtime, I'm thinking that SK have the better overtime composition, but all the pressure is going for Humble right here. Looks like they want to score as much as possible. Ope with another hypercharge super. That's going to be 1 down for Luki. Semantic in a 1 versus 3 situation here. Some great jukes. He manages to get 2. Can he get the 3rd with Yoshi? Surely not. Semantic. Can he? These jukes are impeccable from him. That super is broken, but that was just a really good play. If he lost that 1 versus 3, I mean, no one would have blamed him. But here we go. Humble, hypercharge. Boss, he's going to go in with a hypercharge. He's going to go for the gadget, and he's going to get the kill. Insane from Humble. That all has to come down to Semantic, surely, right? 1 versus 3, and he kills 2 of them and keeps the ball in a great position, keeps the pressure for his team. Wow, that was so clutch. That's exactly what Humble needed. So now 2-1 to SK. Let's go into the next set. So now moving into the 4th set here, we've got Gem Grab, Gem 4. So straight away with the bands, we see some Carl bands, we see Jackie band. Jackie again can be pretty annoying on a map like Gem 4 if you just sit in the middle, and a great counter to a lot of the other tanks. So straight away I'm thinking Janet. I'm thinking maybe like a Buster, because it's going to take a lot for Janet to get. There we go. We've just seen a lot of Buster in the meta. And the thing is, like, you kind of have to go Buster if you're Humble, because Ope is such a good Buster. You got to take it away from him. So yeah, a good counter to Janet, I would say, because you got the quick gadget onto her. It takes so much ammo for her to kill. Buster. We got a Grey. Okay, so Grey, I don't really see too much in Gem 4. I really don't. I feel like that might be a bit of a risky strategy there from Humble, because with Gem 4, there's got to be a lot of like sneaky opportunities, especially with the amount of grass in behind. I don't know. Maybe their thinking here is that there's not many good Grey counters, especially because, like, if SK, for example, go Tara or something like that, well, Buster's going to counter with Tara. So let's see what SK go with. They're going to go with a Max. Okay, Max into Grey is pretty good. Grey's main attack is really hard to hit, right? So Max just makes sense into the Grey. And then the final pick has to be a tank counter, absolutely, here, because Grey double tank would absolutely wreck them. So I'm thinking something. I mean, I don't think Lou is the greatest, or maybe even a tank themselves. They could go with like the Frank. They could go with a Primo. They could go with a Darryl. I don't know, some weird things. I'm thinking Griff, maybe. I'm thinking Buzz. They like to go Buzz a lot. Ollie, even. Who we got? El Primo. So go with the El Primo. I did mention that as one of the first ones. I think El Primo is a risky pick, to be honest. I don't think he's the best in Gem Grab. But what would you go into the Primo? Primo's going to have a good matchup into both of those, to be honest. I guess you could go with maybe another tank that isn't the worst into Primo, is my thinking. Who have we got? We've got any other tanks that are not the worst? I mean, Ash wouldn't be the best, would it? What else have we got? Surely Humble have got something up the sleeves. I can't think of it. And, okay, we're going to Nita. Nita, I don't see too much in this meta. Nita into Primo is pretty interesting. And into all of these. I guess Nita's like pretty good into Janet, I guess, because it takes a lot of shots for Janet to kill them. My guess here is that they're just going to try and, you know, secure the middle as much as possible, because there's not a lot of like pure damage here from SK, and there's not a lot of pinching. I think SK don't like that pick that Humble are gone, to be honest. from the looks of that Joker cam, they don't really like that. But yeah, Nita, it's not a brawler I've seen too much in draft. I always said she's been overrated, especially if you've seen my Nita clip where I got like, I don't know, 3 shots in 2 rounds of Brawl Ball. But I just think she's too easy to draft against. But I guess late pick is pretty good here. So it's going to go triple mid here. Again, they're going to be very limited in range. It's going to be really hard for OP to get his super. So I just really didn't like the Primo pick myself. It's too much of a hard counter pick, you know what I mean? He just absolutely needs to get on the Buster no matter what. And Boss already has his hypercharge. This is absolutely crazy. So the damage that you can deal with Buster with that hypercharge is absolutely insane. So I'm learning here. I'm learning what to go against the Janet. This is the one brawler I can't counter. And this is exactly what Humble will go in. So Gray's going to backwards teleport. So yeah, that's exactly what you want to do with Gray, especially in gem grab. You never want to risk the like teleport in. Teleport backwards, get it set up for your tanks and teammates to just push in. So if they lose control, the tanks can straight away just go into the middle. So really well played here. So 1 gem away already for Humble. Maybe Boss can get that. Ope is going to jump in. He's not going to even get the kill. Semantic's going to get that in the end. Great teleport from Lukey. And that is just absolute destruction from Humble. They're all grouping up. And it feels like SK just can't really do anything about that. Hypercharge is going to go in. There's nothing they can really do. Semantic can just go in because it doesn't really need the gem. Good teleport from Lukey there. I mean, it didn't actually matter in the end. I think it's just KD farming, but that was just complete. This is just complete outdraft. I think it may be from Humble, to be honest. Again, I don't really like this Primo pick because every single time he jumps in, he's not going to be able to stay alive. He's always going to get traded out. So they're kind of, you know, Primo's a pop-off brawler, right? He has his moments, but he can't really have his moments if they're constantly grouping up. So all 3 of them are going to go mid again. I think that is a good strategy because you think of the Primo, like the Primo can't really flank in behind, right? He has no range. So if he tries to flank in behind, he's not going to be able to do that good of a job. So he's actually going to do that this time around. Maybe the strategy here is just to wait in towards the end, but they're just grouping up so well here. Humble, this is just crazy. This much of an outdraft? Surely not. The strategy here from Humble is just insane. There's nothing they can really do. So OP is actually going to get a bit of a jump here. Just get the kill on, just get a double kill here. It might even get the triple. Okay. Now they did something. I'm so good at jinxing, guys. That was a really good pop-off play there from OP. But the bad thing here is that he's only got, well, he got 3 gems and he is the Primo, so he can't really go in here. So eventually he's probably just going to die. The hypercharge super here from Nita. He's going to throw that, but it's going to get stunned. And I didn't even notice Boss go in onto Joker there to get the kill. And now this is looking pretty much a GG here from Humble. Okay, Luki didn't get the 10th gem. I guess he probably didn't want to risk that. OP does have his super though. Swansea going to go in. I don't even know what was happening then. OP is going to jump in as well. And that's like Humble are going to get the 4th set there. So 2-2. I mean, this is a game on our hands now. Maybe the potential sweep here from Humble. Wow, I just kind of blown away by how much of an outdraft that was, to be honest. It wasn't even close. Really well played there from Humble. Again, the Primo pick I just didn't really like. I don't know what else I could have gone, but probably a different tank into that Buster or something. So really good draft in there and strategy from Humble. Let's jump into the final set. Guys, jumping into the 5th and final set here. Winner takes all. So you can see the bands straight away. The best first picks are Cole, Angelo, and Lumi. It looks like I'm bridged too far. Do not pick Kit, please, Humble. I know you want to, but don't pick it. Lily also banned as well. Pretty interesting. Eve and Piper. So we're going to go with Juju first pick. Okay. Juju first pick? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know how I feel. So Melody is open. What else is open? Trying to think. I see a lot of pros that actually go bow here as well. I see like some 8-bits. I see, well, Piper's banned, so now it doesn't make sense. We've got like Belle. You know, Lola can be good. We've got Amber. We've got... what other brawlers top of my head that are good here? So I'm trying to go down the brawler list. There's just quite a few. Probably got like Chuck, for example. I don't really like Chuck as much anymore. What else have we got? I think that's really about it for Bridge Too Far. I mean, maybe like Max can work. Daryl, late pick. Brock, Jet. Well, no, Jesse's not the best anymore. Yeah, there's not actually a ton. It's like Colette if you're looking to counter. Right, anyways, we're going to go into it. So we see the bow. Like I said, bow is really good in Heist, by the way. We see a lot of pros actually ban bow because of how good it is with the mines. Like if you can get your hypercharged mines onto the safe, I believe it's like at least 20+% damage. Even just your normal mines is a lot of damage. Melody as well, really, really good. So my guess again here from Humble, it's got to be on purpose. Go in the Juju first to bait them into something like a Melody. And maybe they think they can counter the Melody on Bridge Too Far. I guess maybe they can. Because there's always like someone pinching the Melody. Like if she goes onto the safe, there's always someone that can be readily available to kill her. So we'll go with the Lola here. Lola is a well-rounded brawler. But they haven't really got much aggression here from Humble. I'm thinking they might need something of their own aggressively. They can't really go Chuck though, because of the Melody. The Melody counters Chuck. You can just farm and just take down their safe a lot quicker. I don't know what they can go, to be honest. I really don't know. We're going to go with the Amber. So again, another control brawler. So they're going to opt for literally full control Humble, which is a risky game. It can work because it's free pros at the end of the day. But as metas has evolved and hyperchargers have came out, it's even harder in Brawl Stars, especially Heist, to just go full control. We've seen this years and years ago in BSC, and it's starting to fade out a little bit as there's just too much chaos in the game right now. So Bo, Melody, they could, I'm trying to think, potentially maybe like a Belle, question mark. Belle's good into it. We go with a Brock. Okay, so we're going to go with a range, which just makes sense here because range counters for Lola and the Amber. The Brock here for the extra damage. Maybe a little bit risky though. I guess they just, again, they're going to go with that damage. So pure damage, SK absolutely. But in terms of pure control, Humble. So it depends here if it's strategy versus strategy here. It's base race, not really base race, but pure damage. You know, SK get onto the safe once and it's pretty much GG, or it's Humble taking control the entire time and just winning, plain and simple. So let's see who wins. If I was to actually, I don't even know what I don't want to predict. I predicted Humble already. I've jinxed them enough already. So let's go with it. So Boss, he's going to be using that star power there. Kind of makes sense here. He's just going to try and completely dominate his lane and just constantly spread out the fire. So Joker's gonna try and stay away here from Boss, which does make sense. He wants to match up onto the Juju. He's gonna try and get his super from the other lanes and then of course dash forward onto the Juju. So here I'm kind of surprised he didn't just go in straight away here. Does try and get some damage onto the safe. Yoshi's gonna get his mines onto the safe as well. So already a decent start from SK. Okay, so Ope is going to go for the matchup versus the Amber. Guess it kind of makes sense. The only, like, Brock is good into Amber, but the other thing is, look at this gadget here. Pressuring Brock straight away into spawn. But it's also, like, a couple of, it takes a lot of shots to kill the Amber, first and foremost. And, like I said, one bit of pressure, a couple of missed shots from Brock, and you're just going to get completely taken over. So it is a bit of a risky pick from SK, I do believe, but it is Ope on the Brock, so should be able to work out. So Boss already has a super all the way down his lane here. Yoshi's going to opt for the Boss matchup. It does outrange Boss as well. So I guess SK do have two good matchups here with the Brock and the Bow. Joker's trying to find an opportunity to get onto the safe, and because he didn't get that far, he's trying to farm his next super, which is pretty clever. The hypercharge mine's already coming down from Yoshi. They know that they are like suffering in terms of complete control. So Mantis is going to pop down his hypercharge, and it's probably just going to get melted straight away. So for all the people saying the Lola hypercharge will be broken or really good, just look at it dwindle down. It does absolutely nothing. It really does. I just don't really like the hypercharge whatsoever. So Joker with the hypercharge is going to manage to get onto the safe, and it actually gets taken down pretty quickly. Well, I guess a Lola and an Amber shredding him, it's going to be pretty difficult, but I think Humble just do a really good job there of just constantly keeping track of the Melody. So 25 seconds left. Either team could really win this. Ope with a gadget and a super, not really connecting on Semantic, but Luki is pretty weak. Semantic is doing an amazing job on his Lola, by the way. Boss gets the super onto the safe, but probably overextends too much because he does die to the mines. This is looking disastrous now for Humble as these hypercharge mines go onto the safe. Luki and Semantic are trying to rain some damage onto the safe, and this is a base race with a couple of seconds left. Does he even have the tripwire gadget? I think they just narrowly win that, right? They narrowly win that. Yes, they do. Is he not using tripwire? I've not been paying attention to the bow whatsoever. I'm kind of surprised he's not using tripwire. Just for moments like that, as we've seen in, when was it? I think Tribe monthly final. Was it last monthly final? Where I think Zeus popped a gadget and literally saved them the game. I mean, surprising. Yeah, he's going to go with a totem on it. I wasn't literally looking at the bow the entire game. I guess he just wants to farm as many supers as possible to try and win his 1 versus 1 matchup, maybe. I guess it is more of a control battle, right? So, yeah, it makes sense. I'm learning, okay? I'm learning. And you see as well, when it's like a pure 1 versus 1 battle on Bridge Too Far, a lot of pros just go with shield gear because that extra bit of tanking does really help in that 1 versus 1. To be honest, maybe a little bit overrated, the shield gear, I think, by the pros, but they are the pros at the end of the day. Like for bow, I'd just prefer the heal gear personally, to keep your lane. Alright, so again, it's just a control battle here. This is definitely like an EU type of game here. Like both teams just going back and forth, trying to gain their control on the lane. So again, they're just trying to constantly get the better matchups here. You just see all of them like switching, trying to get the better of the matchups. You see Luki here trying to get onto the bow, which does make a lot more sense here. He's going to pop the gadget onto the speed, just nearly get Yoshi down. Smite is going to get tripped over by a couple of those mines and does eventually fall to those bow hypercharge mines. So not looking the best here for Humble. Some good pinches here from Joker and Ope. Really good kill there onto Boss. He's just going to super hit in here, Joker, which is fair enough. He's going to cycle through to his next one. That's okay. And that's going to allow Yoshi to get 1 mine onto the safe, which it's not really completely ideal, but that's a bit of extra damage. Sure. Okay, Humble with full control here. A minute left on the clock. Just that little blade of grass there that Luki can use for that extra bit of range. This is going to go to the wide. It's going to come down to whether Joker can get his super. You know, Opa's got hypercharge. If he can get hypercharge onto the safe, does use his hypercharge now to try and kill Boss. You can see here just how hard it is to kill a pro player with Brock. This is why Brock is so difficult to play at the higher levels. Look at that, like 4 missed shots from Ope, and here comes the hypercharge onto his safe. Quite a lot of damage here from Semantic. We're going to take that down eventually though. 20% difference here from Humble. 20 seconds left. Joker's looking to try and get this super. The Grigori's going to get Joker really weak. 15 seconds left. It looks like Humble could actually get this, but Joker with the super, he's going to look to try and juke out. Yoshi, some really clutch mines here. Joker's going to go down. Does get the hypercharge in time. And a Brock super as well. The Melody hypercharge notes absolutely shredding the safe. And it looked like Humble just had that in their bag. It looked like they had that. And it was going to go to the final game of the final set. But Joker with the clutch there. Absolutely insane. Wow, that was so close. Congratulations to SK. That is now 2 monthly final wins. And then, of course, ECP winning 1 as well. Humble not even winning 1, which is kind of crazy. The former world champions still look really good. But it's the same story as last year for Humble, where I think they got a lot of second places. They didn't win a monthly final until like June or July. So maybe it's the same story again, question mark. But yeah, congratulations to SK. Both of these teams are going to be going to the Brawl Cup. So yeah, really well played. But there's a lot more to play for at the second half of the season. This is where things are going to get even spicier. So SK starting the game really strong. I would like for SK to make a really good run towards the World Finals and maybe even win it. When it comes down to it, because they're an organization that definitely deserves it. Anyway, I'm waffling right now, but that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.